What's up, everybody? I know it's not Tuesday, but the Braves had a day off, so I thought it would work all the same because I don't want to do Castmac chats during the Braves actually playing, so I thought it would work out the same. So let me share this real quick. Obviously, things haven't gotten better. We won once, so that's something, but the angst and annoyance of the 1-8 start, the 4-0 shutout loss after the 10-0 win, it's not ideal. And obviously, everybody's calling for Snicker to be something that he's not. I think he's never been a flip the table over guy or yell guy or any of that. And that Michael Harris saying that Ryan Snicker hasn't said much, that's pretty on par for him. I don't know what we all want him to say. I mean, we want a magic wand to have this turn around. I mean, these guys are humans. Their job is to play baseball and play it well, and none of it's going well. And I mean, Snicker can't pitch or hit the ball. I understand. Would it be nice that there was a little bit more fire? Maybe, but that's not Snicker's game. It never has been, and it's not a surprise to me, and I don't think that it should be a surprise to anyone else. I get it. You want somebody new, but my recollection is that it's probably going to be Walt Weiss, and I don't see him as a guy that's going to yell at the clouds and yell and scream either. I mean, that's just my prediction that it's going to be Walt Weiss after whatever happens with Snicker overall. I mean, it's a 1-8 start. It sucks no matter how you slice it. And just beating it to death. I did see that Ronald ramping up and going to LA is a really good thing. So that's good. Sean Murphy was activated and he'll be back tomorrow. That's good as well. It's a 1-8 start. Everybody knows it. It's not. And yes, you're allowed to be frustrated. You're allowed to yell. I've yelled for sure, but I just don't know that that's going to help magically turn things around. Yeah, I saw the one rehab start up to 90 pitches for Gwinnett on Thursday, I believe it was. So that is good as well. I just know that there's not a magic. Yeah, I think everybody's yelled for the ABS system. Recently, there's been a lot of that because it's just the blatant calls that you don't. And I think that that's it needs to happen, and I understand that umpires are human, but maybe if they keep getting ABS next year, that they'll lock in a little bit more. And I know that umpires are human. I get it. It's a thing. You're not gonna get 100% of the calls right, but the blatantly bad calls, they need to be out of the game. I think he was he's been assigned to Gwinnett, so it probably should be relatively soon. I don't know exactly what that does, but I know that Kelnick has looked really poor. And I mean, although I've liked what Stuart Fairchild has brought to the table, so I'd like maybe to see him get a little bit more run. And De La Cruz has been solid-ish against right-handed pitching, which he was supposed to just be strictly lefties. But of course, the Jerickson Profar situation is what it is. So it's thrown everything into a loop a little bit more than any of us wanted, obviously. But Verdugo could definitely bring a spark and an energy and a I told you so type of thing for him, because he's had an up and down career with the Mookie Betts of it all, and the in that trade, and being only 28 and all that stuff. That's a thing. And I appreciate that Nick Allen's gotten more of a run, but I don't think that is actually official, because I don't think he anticipated playing this much, and I think that may be throwing him off. Obviously, he's had a really decent start to the season in comparison to everything else that's gone wrong, but I don't know. I don't know if it's fair to him to put that label on him yet. But I get it. I see where you're coming from. I just because he's putting up better at bats, but he's still nobody's really coming through with runners in scoring position. I actually, if that is the case, I would actually like to put Nick Allen in the. I know you want your better hitters at the top, but it maybe a Nick Allen in the 2-hole, and then you could maybe do some bunting, some sacrificing, some different things. I don't know. Nothing else was working, so maybe just a thought. I don't know if it's a good thought or just a hopeful thought, but yeah, I do agree that I'm happy that Drake Baldwin or put Drake Baldwin at a two spot, because you're getting really, really good at bats from him. I know the results nothing's been indicated by the results, but I think that it's worthy of a thought. With the way we shook things up, I know we ended up blowing that lead in LA the last game, but the way we were able to shake things up. Yeah. Again, he has. I just think he needs to be a little bit more aggressive against lefties, because he gets so far deep into and 2-strike counts that he's just kind of bailing and wailing against lefties. But yes, he's looked a lot better against lefties. But it's the little things that are still missing: the productive outs, the sacrifice flies, the RBI ground outs. That kind of thing is still missing. That's why maybe a Drake Baldwin or a Nick Allen at 2. I know you want your better players at 2, because that's how the new Major League Baseball is, and it should be. But I'm just trying to think of things that may shake it up in a good way, because I know there's not a magic potion to make the lineup better and execute better with the leadoff doubles and all that stuff. But just get the little things happening a little more would be nice. And obviously they know that, and that's why I keep everybody that's complaining about Snit and how he's doing things. I get it, I do, but he's not the guy to be the rah rah. Oh, yeah, I don't know. He must not have the process must not have he didn't he obviously was throwing, but the ramp up and the different stuff of that hasn't but I agree, I think that could be a shot in the arm. I also think that I don't know where Hayden Harris is right now, but he could be an interesting lefty piece that we might see sooner rather than later. I'm not sure about that, but that would be great if that were the case. But I mean, I think I remember somewhere that he had if I'm remembering correctly, he had Tommy John, and yeah, I think that Luis Gupta unfortunately also got hit in the hand with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. So it's kind of trickling down in the organization of the the not good um, the not good luck of it all. Um, okay, so yeah, that might be a thing. Hayden Harris might be up sooner rather than later, maybe, depending on how the start goes. Thank you for that, Joseph. Yeah, I think Sean Murphy will really help the pitching staff situations, maybe slow down the running game a little bit because our pitchers have seemingly forgot to check runners and all that stuff, which is not a good thing. But uh, obviously, nothing's been great. I think, honestly, my opinion, AJ Smith-Shawver. I know it's only a couple of starts, and we've seen the Spencer Schwellenbach of it all, how that manifested. But I feel like AJ Smith-Shawver would be better in a relief role. I don't know if that's eternally accurate. It's just an opinion because I think he could let it eat and then that split change, and not have to think as much. And but I don't know if that's the right move because Grant Holmes is used to doing the multitude of roles and all of that as well. So I don't know. I was just kind of trying to think of something to shake up because the velocity and the stuff is there. And I feel like it kind of wears down the multiple innings that he goes. Um, but I don't know if his command would be good enough for a relief spot, but it just feels better that way. Well, we can't afford that right now, Joseph, so we need to. I'm trying to think creatively whether that may be right or I'm not saying you're wrong there, but the way our roster is set right now, we can't afford him to be in the minors. So that's more of more of where I'm going with that. Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. I'm not saying you guys are wrong, and I know he's young and he's only 22 and all this stuff, but the the idea of being in a 1-8 hole doesn't give you the warm and fuzzies to be able to allow for the growing pains and allow for that, even though it's part of it always is, but just those ideals, I guess. And it's just hard to balance it all. And that's another factor of what SNIT is dealing with. I just I don't envy it, because the reality is you've got Grant Holmes and AJ Smith-Shawver in the back end of the rotation, and you need those guys to have a little bit of breathing room, but the offense is so in their head right now collectively. Yeah, but I understand it's a marathon, not a sprint, but the further the hole gets, the harder the marathon gets, is all I'm saying. There needs to be, hopefully we can stack a couple of good series in a row to calm everything down. Because I agree. I know it's a marathon, and I know the young pieces that we have and the tough schedule. Yeah, playing the Phillies, of course, doesn't give the warm and fuzzies of it all, for sure. But again, that is what it is too, and it's definitely a difficult balance. It's and I'm trying to do that as a fan, the balance, because it doesn't help any of us if you're super negative, but you've also got to be real about where we are. And the schedule makers did us no favors, because every team. Yeah, I saw Vladdy's contract. I don't think that ages well, but great for him. 14 years, 500 million. With the two positions that he plays, it's probably not. Yeah, Spencer should be back very soon, I think. One more start in rehab, or one more rehab start Thursday, and we should be up. He should be up after that, so that'll help, obviously. And maybe you can settle down the roles there. And Ronald, I'm sure it'll be a little bit longer. But yes, I think that'll help too, because then you lengthen your lineup that way. But like I said, those are the two magic potions, as it were, Ronald and Strider, that should help settle the roles. But there's no doubting that we have to start putting better sequences and things together, and I think we know that. And I don't know what hoodies you're referring to. I've not paid attention to them. I will look. I cannot give an opinion on that because I haven't even noticed. Not in a bad way. I kind of focused on. I usually like the like that kind of stuff, but I don't know. I'll get back to you on the fashion choices. I don't know. I didn't. I have no opinion one way or the other on it, honestly, as of right now. But probably not. Probably not creative or whatever. But um, I just. I don't know. Uh, I am surprised that the NL West is competitive as it is. I mean, maybe the Dodgers and Padres aren't surprising, but the Giants is a nice little. They've gotten off to a heck of a start, um, and they're a fun team. It's not an even year, so that's a little surprising. But I like that the NL West is going to be more of a conversation than probably any of us thought. That's one of my favorite storylines coming into the year. Yes, I was happy about that. I was happy that I was able to see a record like that live. Um, that was goosebumps, and I'm glad it didn't happen against the Canes. And people got butthurt about the Canes saying, "Really glad it didn't happen against us." I don't have a problem with it. I think everybody was thinking that. Um, you want a record to happen, but you never want the record to happen against you. Um, that's always been my opinion. Um, but I think it's the start to the season is something that none of us wanted. Um, obviously, but I don't think kicking trash cans and all that's not gonna change anything. I just hope, and I think the sense of urgency is in. They're trying to keep it inside and not show too much of the outward frustration because that can be misconstrued in one way or the other. So I think again that part is a delicate balance that the Braves haven't found yet, and obviously winning would cure all, but it's not exactly easy either. Um, yeah, the spark I'm waiting for it too. I'm just trying to uh, where it comes exactly. I'm not sure. Um, I was waiting for yeah that. Hopefully uh, we show signs of life and get back on track. I think it's more the more things that concern me is the shutouts and the that stuff. The good at bats are still happening. We've actually, I think I saw a stat today. We've been called the most outside strikes on us that are actually balls. So the good at bats feel like they're really really happening, but it's not translating into runs. The three ball counts, the leadoff walks, those things aren't translating into runs and rallies and runners in scoring position hits and all of that stuff. I think it's just a little bit of a difficult uh, and everybody trying to put a finger on things and saying that Snicker's not leading and saying that Snicker XYZ. There's not exactly a I was never chicken out because of weather. We just really needed a mental thought, and hopefully it turns in. Hopefully the baseball gods are smiling on us, because for about the last year and a half or more, it really hasn't. And an entire lineup being in between is kind of not ideal. And I mean, it's everybody's trying to figure out. Also, I needed Dustin May to have over 4.5 strikeouts, and he has yet to get one. He's yet to get one. Darn it! So that might not work. But just having fun with that. Just having, like, I'm still gonna love baseball. I'm still gonna do every single recap, and I sign up for it no matter that I'm a content creator or not. It is what I do. So yeah, we do have that going for us. So yeah, Spencer Schwellenbach and Chris Sale, no matter how bad things are going, and everything is pretty much going bad. Well, Florida is a great place to vacation. I hope you had a great one. And But Spencer Schwellenbach and Chris Sale are amazing to watch pitch. They always have been. I'm glad you did. So let's see. Yeah. The scheduled pitching matchups. Okay, we get Wheeler, Sale, Walker, Holmes, and then Luzardo, Swellenbach. Those are awesome pitching matchups. So we'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes, definitely. Taijuan Walker had a really good start the other day. He had 6 innings and was awesome. So I don't. Okay, apparently, yeah. So that's. I mean, we'll see what happens. But we did, as the hole that we're in. We just got to keep one game at a time, one series at a time. All the cliches. And the funny part is, everybody that's clamoring for Snit to say something, then he says all the cliches and people get mad. We're just in a vicious cycle of nobody's going to be happy until we start putting up W's and putting up good series, and we all know that. And it's not a simple process. Well, well, who knows? I mean, just take. me and my friend have this saying, take the win. So if I hope the Taiwan Walker good start was a fluke. I do. I really hope it was a fluke. Because that means the Braves did some positive things offensively, and we start getting some good vibes rolling. And I think that it's going to be like that one thing that kind of clicks in for everybody, because you certainly give me the trash talking every recap that I post, that's for sure. So got to give it back to you. So I mean, and I'm not trying to. It may sound like I'm trying to sell roses and rainbows and gold. I'm not. The reality is, we're staring at 1-8. It's not great, but I don't think that drastic changes. If we had a magic prospect, if we had something like that, then yeah, maybe we make that move. But I don't think you can. There's not a magic answer, and Snit has never been the guy to flip over a table. So I don't think that's going to change either. Snit can't pitch the ball. He can put guys in certain situations to have them succeed best. And if you're questioning that, then maybe I can and get on board in that sense. But honestly, my thoughts is that we suck right now, and that 19th in the power rankings is probably generous. I don't think it's injury sympathy. I think it's just the reality that we have one of the worst opening weeks of baseball history, and I don't think that anyone can deny that. But there was also a lot of bad luck, and there's also a lot of chances we didn't execute on, and we're not a good baseball team right now. So the injury is part of it, but I don't think that there's sympathy there. No MLB team has sympathy for the realities, and 2024 was about as bad as it can get injury wise, and somehow we were able to withstand all that. And the fact that people are saying that Alex Anthopoulos got lucky and is a bad GM now, I can't get behind that. And I can't get behind that Brian Snitker is going to change his personality just because we've sucked for the last year and a half. He's not going to do it. And you're getting mad because he's not saying anything, and then you get mad when he says the cliches, but the cliches are the reality of what the Braves are sitting here with right now. And man, I wish I clipped that, because that was some good stuff there. But I think it's harder for everyone to take, because we're supposed to be good, and coming off the scars of last year, Yeah, Joey Estes has been, how you say, battered and bruised. Um, in his first couple of starts with the Athletics this year. But I think it's also the overreaction or the reactions that everybody's having is because last year was a disaster too. So I think the power rankings are what the power rankings are, but the Braves are not good right now, and that's just the ugly reality. And I don't know. We'll just see how it plays out, but you literally have to take it one game at a time. Because if you don't and you look too far ahead, you'll bury yourself quicker and faster and lose confidence in yourself. And shaking it up by trading one of our core players is not going to happen. They're signed for a reason. They're perennial all stars. It's in there. But the reality of getting out of slumps is a disaster mentally to try to grapple with, and everybody does it in their own way. And I feel like let's see, next couple we got Tampa, Blue Jays, and the Twins. Tampa Blue Jays and the Twins. So that could literally go either way. Yeah. And do I wish that we would have spent more money? Yeah. Do I wish that Liberty Media would spend more money? Yeah. But I think that, but if you expose that plan, then other teams take advantage of it and you really can't, I don't know, um, create. Then you have to be super creative if you like seriously divulge the plan of, obviously we're resetting the luxury tax, but Alex Anthopoulos trade history and things of that nature, and obviously he's catching a lot of flack for it, but he never stops trying to make us better. And obviously if he had an unlimited budget or a plush budget, I'm sure things would look different now. But I think that's also a is what it is thing for now. And because he's always going to try to make us better. And I don't think that's that's ever going to change. And I don't think that Alex Anthopoulos is going to get fired. Thank you. Wow, you're right. That thing exploded. But yeah, and yes, the guy's on expiring contracts, but I don't think there's a lot there, and I don't know that the value is going to be good enough. And maybe we could get creative with like a Hurston Waldrop in the bullpen or something. But again, that's reaching, and maybe there would be some creativity and that we're not anticipating. But I will say, I think that Jared Kelnick's been a bit of an extra miss, and I don't think that reality is helping. But no GM is perfect, but I think that Alex Anthopoulos has earned the right to continue to do the way he needs to do it, and if he doesn't get a green light from ownership and Terry McGurk, then he can't do it. I mean, it's that plain and simple. So I think placing the blame and frustration is gonna go a ton of places. But the reality is the roster is what the roster is, and that's yeah, I mean, like I said, you guys have been able to take advantage of your walks, and the Braves have not. And hopefully that starts turning around, and obviously keeping you guys off the bases, and keeping from the lineup turning over is the big thing. It's always been a big thing for every team, but especially you guys. And yeah, it's huge. It always has been. It always will be. Okay, I guess Dustin May is not gonna get any strikeouts. That kind of things. So I'm gonna lose my parlay, I think. But I mean, you can't defend walks, and it's the ultimate rally creator unless you're the Braves right now, and that's painful to say, but again, I don't want to feel like that I'm preaching, but just trying to find the exact formula for the struggles and to balance the human side of everything. I don't know. Well, that he would have been throwing against you guys if we didn't have the rain out, but Bryce Elder gets a bad rap. And he doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies, but I'm a little bit more, probably more apologetic than I should be about Bryce Elder, because he does keep us in the ball game. He has, but like I said, the pitching has struggled too. But if you don't score any runs, it does not matter. And I think that's the one spot that you can't deny. And everybody wants to hit their way out of a slump, but maybe there's different ways. But I honestly can't really exactly put a finger on anything except the cliche that I've said this whole time: just one game at a time, one series at a time, one at bat at a time. And that's all we can do. And so um but back to the Vladdy extension, I guess, because I didn't really expand. I just don't see the aging very well, just because the position he plays, DH and first base, and I just don't know that it's great, but great for him financial security. The Toronto finally gets one of their stars to stay, but I just don't know if it'll have the benefits that you want it overall to have. I have noticed though that the Los Angeles Dodgers defensively have been that's maybe the only thing that they've been struggle bussing with is that it's a lot left to be desired, and for the Braves, their defense has been solid. So that's one thing we can hang our hat on. Yeah, Freddie, that's for sure. But I think they're fine. But that was one thing that I was surprised by. Bit more was that's been happening. And Freddie will definitely help that, but yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers can kind of do no wrong. I mean, they can, but they. Yeah. Um, now, some other trends. The Cincinnati Reds have had a terrible time scoring runs, just like the Braves. I think they went on a 34 inning scoreless streak. Maybe they felt bad for the Braves. I know they didn't, but that's surprising given they have more speed and athleticism and different ways to create. Um, so that was a little bit surprising. That's been really surprising. Obviously the Mariners are still struggling to score runs. Shocker. Like that's just an annoying thing. As a baseball fan. I just because the pitching is so solid. If they could just, yeah, and that I think that makes it even worse. You score 14 runs, so you know it's in there, and then you go on a 34 game scoreless streak, and I think that's the bugaboo about the Braves, the shutout struggles. It's one thing to get shut out by like Zach Wheeler and Sandy Alcantara and Paul Skeens and all that stuff, but then you produce shutouts by Randy Vasquez, uh, Cal Quantrill, and Nick Pavetta. Those guys, it kind of irks you a little bit more, and I know that's a little bit of the extra angst, and it always will be. Like I said, winning cures all, but it's kind of hard. Again, mentally, you're winning 14-5. You think you're gonna go start on something, and then the ball starts rolling the wrong way as the Reds, and it, things aren't simple. They never have been. And hitting the baseball is the hardest thing to do. And when an entire lineup really doesn't have confidence despite good at bats, a lot of the times, then it's a hard pill to swallow, and it's hard, the frustration of it all. And I and like the Red Sox, solid so far. think they swept the Cardinals. I've been surprised about how bad the Twins pitching has been to start the year. That's been it's been a little different. Um, yeah, well, Travis Hunter can do anything and everything in sports and look fine. um, but you know what? I don't see drastic changes on the horizon for the Braves. I just hope we start putting good series together, series wins, stacking the series wins, and seeing what happens. Because we've got a lot of good players. I just don't think that. I mean, Ronald and Strider hopefully come back and give us that spark. Um, because whatever Ronald comes back as, he definitely is that presence regardless of said spark. And I think that is important. Um, so maybe that'll help. And then you, of course, obviously you can't anticipate. Yeah. And I hope I've uh, translated that because, and I was a little bit more testy last week, and I'm not gonna apologize for it, but it's not it's not typically what you see from me, but I think we're all the frustrations are there, um, and everybody wanting the sense of urgency to be outward like it is for fans. I don't think that's that easy for players because it can be misconstrued in different ways that you don't want. And I think that balance of that plus as a as a uh, as a voice for the Braves fan base, trying to be realistic, be frustrated, wear it on my sleeve, all that stuff. And it's a difficult balance to do that as well, but realize that I love baseball no matter what. God, is it frustrating right now? Yeah, but that's not gonna change the idea that I'm gonna watch 162 and hopefully more and pull my hair out and say words, and try to avoid the cuss words, even though the cuss words are fun to say and probably more appropriate in some sort of situations. But you you do what you do what you have to do, and as an athlete, that's a really difficult. That's a really difficult reality, and as a fan, to it is extremely difficult as well. But it's even more difficult for the players and everything. So, yeah, the balance of that is definitely. But yeah, I mean, Sounds simple. I know it's not, but that's what the Braves have to do, and we all know it. And whether we pull it off or not, and if it continues down this terrible path, then we may see some changes for Snit and others. No, it hasn't dropped as far as I've seen. I mean, it's obviously the first, the first home series. Um, there was great attendance for that. Obviously, the last game got rained out. I don't think you're gonna see a drop in attendance. At least for the first month and a half, I wouldn't think so. But if it continues, maybe. Uh, but no, it hasn't dropped as far as I've seen. And also, just real quick, my opinion on booing. Yes, do I boo like bad calls and umpires and things of that nature? But I try my hardest not to boo the players. I don't know what that accomplishes. Even though, like, I understood when the Yankees fans did it last a couple of years ago in the playoffs when they scored nothing, and it was just completely lifeless. I kind of get it that way. It's just not my style, but I do get it. But I typically boo bad calls and umpires more than I uh, do the players. So that I did want to put that uh, put that out there for sure because I understand it, but I just don't know how it helps. Yeah, I think didn't you boo Jordan Romano yesterday? That signing hasn't exactly worked out yet, even though it's early and you guys are still fine, winning and all that stuff, of course. Yeah, I mean booing is it's weirdly complicated and it shouldn't be, but yeah, it's a lot more fun when talking when the Braves are this way, but when the Braves are not this way and winning and all that stuff. But who do you guys have in the national championship tonight? I had Houston in my bracket, but I feel like Florida's a gauntlet. I just hope it's a good game, but I want Houston to win. After that incredible comeback against Duke, and obviously I picked them in my bracket, but uh, I feel like Florida's a juggernaut, but we'll see if they can avoid the turnovers. Um, but yeah, I think there's been a lot of really fun sports stuff. So collectively around the league, there's been a lot of fun storylines like Wilyer Abreu. It's a bad trade for Houston now, even though Christian Vasquez helped them win the World Series, but not having Wilyer Abreu kind of looks bad now. And I didn't like. I don't understand why they moved Jose Altuve to left field when they did it, and I still don't understand it now. Um, but um, Just kind of thinking thoughts and. But I think baseball has been really fun so far. Detroit has looked better after getting ambushed by the Dodgers. I think NL West is going to be fun. The Cubs have gotten off to a good start, and Kyle Tucker has taken to his confines nicely. Giants are looking good. That's kind of the team that kind of surprised me. They didn't really do a ton, but the Willie Adames ad. But I think a lot of their young players are stepping up and getting off to a hot start. Yeah, so that's the Giants are fun. The Giants are probably the most surprising in the one direction, and the Reds just overall struggles is probably. I mean, I know they're 3-6, so that's not 1-8, of course, but I think that's probably the most surprising in the other direction. So, but I think that's all I have today. Yeah. And Arizona will probably be pesky in there, so maybe 4. But my A's dark horse wild card pick, I know it's early on, but it doesn't look that great right now, but that's all right. Neither does my Dustin May 5 strikeouts pick either, but as always, go Braves, champions forever. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, helps out a lot. Thanks, guys, and we'll see if we can put together some good games, collect some W's, and have some fun. But I'll see you guys sometime next week. I will put it on my socials so you can find me. But hit that like button, helps out a lot. Thanks, guys.